I'm going to talk about the absolute dumbest purchases that I made in my 20s. I'm not in my 20s anymore, and there's still time to make even dumber purchases, but I like to think that I've learned enough to make smarter choices these days.
Knowledge.
In fact, just creating this video has really helped me reflect on the reasons for these mistakes and even come up with a few strategies to avoid repeating history in the future. If you want to laugh at my dumb choices and learn some valuable lessons on managing your own money, be sure to stick around until the end of this video. Now let's get started. Everybody has different ideas of what qualifies as a dumb purchase. Some influencers drop thousands in ads that only land them a few sales or conversions. A lot of people also look at the value of these things based on their personal preferences. You know, Brazilian footballer Neymar Jr. spent more than $13 million on a Batman-themed helicopter. He wanted it, and he's a highly successful athlete, so he bought it. Would I make the same purchase? No, but that's because I don't want a Batman-themed helicopter. Just because it's a bad choice for, some people doesn't mean it's a bad choice for everybody. But if you're an entrepreneur or an aspiring entrepreneur, you can't always compare your purchases to someone who's not actively trying to build businesses and develop sustainable passive income for themselves in the long term. You have to think about what makes sense for you as a person and as an entrepreneur. And more often than not, this will make you realize that a lot of the purchases that you make are not all that smart. From the $8 coffee you bought this morning to the $50,000 sports car you financed to look cool on Instagram, it's all about setting priorities and making informed decisions. I want to share some pretty embarrassing purchases with you, and hopefully you can avoid making the same mistakes that I did. The first dumb thing I bought in my 20s was a $1,000 Citizen brand watch. Don't get me wrong, Citizen is a good brand and there are way more expensive watches out there.
$2.3 million. US dollars.
What made this purchase dumb wasn't the watch itself or the price of the watch, but the reasoning behind purchasing. You know that feeling you get when you want to make impulsive purchases at checkout? Well, it's the reason so many stores place a bunch of overpriced things that you don't need right behind the counter. Well, that's basically what happened to me, okay? I saw someone wearing a nice watch and I thought, oh, that's a cool watch. I work hard, I want to look good. So I asked about the watch. They said it was the Citizen, and as I searched online through the store, I kept getting caught up in all the great features. I wanted a classic looking watch that had a solar powered battery, and then I noticed that I could get a watch with GPS features, and then it was atomic timekeeping, and then super titanium. Before I knew it, I had bought a watch that was way more than I wanted to spend, with a bunch of features I didn't really need. And when my watch arrived and I tried it on, I liked how it looked, but I quickly realized that all the bells and whistles were totally unnecessary. My phone could do all of the same things as my watch, and a lot more. What's worse, I ended up losing the watch during a business trip, so I only got about 1 year of use out of it, but it taught me not to get stuck in the cycle of never-ending upgrades. The second dumb purchase on this list didn't happen all at once. It was spread out over several years, and just about every person in their 20s goes through, the party phase. You turn 21 or 18 where I'm from, and you can legally drink alcohol. You go absolutely crazy with your friends. At first it seems great. You drink, you party, you meet new people, have fun. But many mornings during that time, I would check my phone and was horrified when I saw my bank account. Party culture doesn't just hurt your wallet, okay? About 20% of students develop a substance abuse disorder because of trying to keep up with the party lifestyle and culture. Partying does take a huge toll on your physical and mental health, and we humans simply are not designed to get drunk every night and wake up the next day to start the process all over again. If I could go back in time and dial down my partying to just the weekends, maybe a couple of drinks on a date or whatever it may be, I could have saved thousands and thousands of dollars. Always remember, alcohol lowers your inhibitions, which makes you make worse decisions, spend a lot more money than you need to, drink more than you need to, and other bad decisions as well we don't need to talk about here. Try to play it safe and put your money toward more rewarding experiences. You can still party and have a good time without spending $100 a night at the bar. I've done it, and the best part was I could wake up the next morning without a terrible hangover or a feeling that I had wasted too much money. Another big purchase I made was a luxury apartment. Keep in mind it was a rental, I didn't buy it outright. I was pretty young back then, but it was still 3 times more than I should have been paying for housing as someone in the early 20s. I wanted the jacuzzi, vaulted ceilings, private bar, marble countertops, all of that stuff that you would expect in a high-end bachelor pad. The only problem was I couldn't really afford it, and while it felt great living there for about 3 weeks, once I started paying rent, I ended up realizing too much of my money was going to this rent and I should have just downsized and saved a fortune. So my advice is don't try to upgrade your lifestyle until you're making at least 2 to 3 times more than you need to comfortably afford the upgrade. If you're in your 20s and 30s, you need to start thinking about how things are going to change as well. You can get something nice, but make sure it's within your budget. Then as you build your income and have greater financial stability, you can invest in better properties and even start making your real estate work for you. Until then, don't be afraid to settle for a basic studio apartment. In fact, it's one of the smartest things that you can do now to ensure a better financial future for yourself. I know you watch all of these 20-year-old billionaires on Instagram and TikTok like I do. You see their fancy clothes, fancy apartments, cars, and all the trappings that come with wealth. I'm going to be really honest with you. You don't need that much money to be happy, and buying luxury goods doesn't really add anything to your happiness. They're cool, don't get me wrong. You don't really need those things to feel good about yourself. You don't need those things to live a good life. You can have everything you dreamed of, but be happy with much less. I've seen super wealthy people unhappy with their lives and vice versa. The goal isn't just to be rich, but to live the life you want and make the amount of money necessary to live that way. If you're starting to judge me at this point, I don't blame you. Just remember that, I was in my 20s and everybody makes mistakes when they're young. But the next one probably won't make you think any better of me. When I started traveling the world, I realized that, having a successful online business meant that, I wasn't chained to a desk anymore. I could work from literally anywhere on the planet. But the problem is I wanted to travel in style. I was dropping thousands of dollars in expensive flights and Airbnbs and hotels and fancy restaurants, and it was just insane. While it's nice to have a little bit more comfort, you should spend your money on great experiences, not unnecessary amenities that make you feel cool. You can spend $300 to go to a music festival and have the time of your life, or you could be like me and pay more than $3,000 on an overnight trip to Tokyo, where I spent the whole time working and barely got to enjoy the city. I still can't believe I did that, and it's something that makes me cringe to this day to even think about it, and something that really taught me the value of balancing value and comfort when I travel anywhere. If you can't enjoy your travels without paying for the extra amenities, then put in the work for it. You don't have to live like a monk, but if you want to live like a king, you have to put in the hours and make sure that you have the income to back it up. Otherwise, you're going to dig yourself into a deeper and deeper hole and get into debt really quickly. The last and probably dumbest purchase I made in my 20s is something that I've talked about a lot before, but it's important to understand that this is not a purchase that I regret. I actually wouldn't be where I am today without it. It was still dumb because I dropped $5,000 I didn't have on a course, and the course was not terrible, but it only taught me pretty basic stuff, and I came out with some useful information, and it did help me lead toward my future building drop servicing blueprint. But was it worth $5,000? Absolutely not. If I had done just a little more research, I could have found a course that offered 10 times more information for a fraction of the cost. But you live and you learn, and without all of these mistakes, I definitely wouldn't be the person or the entrepreneur that I am today. So each one definitely taught me different lessons about the value of my time and the value of money. And do I look back and regret some of them? Yes and no. You can't change the past, you can just learn from it. Just making this video has really helped remind me of some of the dumb financial decisions that I've made and how I still managed to find success in spite of the mistakes. So I hope these 5 dumb purchases can help you avoid making the same mistakes I did, and that way you can use your money more wisely, invest, and actually build a more stable future for yourself. It's all about separating what you need from what you want. You don't have to deprive yourself of all of the pleasure, but you should absolutely think about how purchases, both big and small, can affect your future and just your overall well-being. So listen, if you want to go deeper into how I personally make money online, check out the link in the description below this video. I'm going to give you a free 2-hour training showing you step by step how I build real online businesses using drop servicing. We're going to show you how to make your first $10,000 online, even sharing templates and tutorials showing you exactly how to do it, exactly how we get sales. Other than that, if you like the video, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to this channel if you want more stuff like this in the future. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video.